Okay, it takes a second. Okay, Mark, go ahead.
Great, thanks. So we had the steering committee had a meeting in December, and we've finalized, I guess, for the working draft of our strategic plan. We're moving forward with that, and I'll share that at our next all hands meeting with folks. But we consider it it's a working version, so we'll improve it if we need to as we go along. But basically, the project team has got some work to do, and we're going to make some asks of some of you to help us build this movement of WISE, which is really what a lot of our focus is going to be. Really, it comes down to we want to add value by creating these business process models, our change model, our people models, the other things that we're working on in business processes. And we want to bring more people in to help build this network of folks that have started on WISE. And so we've got a number of ideas how to do that. We've got an action plan generated. And so we began working on that, and we're getting going on that in earnest here now with the start of the new year.
Okay, thank you, Mark. We will, this is the agenda. We only have 30 minutes, and we're going to try to use it efficiently as possible. So I'll run very quickly through the summary of progress on different initiatives, because most people are just working like on one initiative or maybe two, and just to get a sense what other people are doing as well. You see the agenda slide, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So the scope of what we're doing of WISE includes the components of the value creation in terms of what we do and also the improvement methodology about how do we go about it. And you've seen these things before. So we are looking at a couple of places to start, either to start on the people side or to start on the technology and processes side. All of these things are related, but in principle, it's there are a couple of angles that one could approach this. So this year, we're looking at initiatives on the people side for workforce and organizational culture. I'll quickly show what is going on over there. We have a team that is focused on change management, 3 teams on the process improvement, and a new team also that's looking at technology, including the data analytics. So this did receive a lot of interest from utilities, and there's very good participation. So the way we started this project was really with the focus on business processes. So the work that we're doing here, as you can see, is focused either on CIP planning or delivery or asset management, which are all processes. And utility has pretty much picked a process that they thought was their priority, and it's something that they wanted to work on. One of the things that's new is we also put together a little tool that would help people figure out how to select a process and understand what are the correct characteristics of, excuse me, excuse me, characteristics of that process, including how big is it? Is it very complex? Excuse me, is it very complex? Is it something that involves everybody, or is it just a single person calibrating a meter? How much do you know about the process? How do you manage performance? Have you defined business needs and goals? So that's one of the new things that we've done, basically maturity assessment for the process that you've selected to help you down the road. So this is in Microsoft Forms now, and it essentially creates a process of a profile of a process, how complicated, how impactful, how much we know about it, and also a couple of things that have to do with goals and performance management. So this allows us then to have these components when we look at processes that sort of show us where we are in terms of level of maturity. So the results of this would then move these black arrows to the to show where we are. So, for example, if we pick something that's really complex, we don't have any, we're not using any metrics to manage it currently. We haven't defined any metrics. We haven't defined business goals, and we have no documentation of the process. It does, raise some. It does provide some useful guidance for how can we actually do this realistically. So the past few years, we've focused on all of these things into the assessing maturity, analyzing systems, designing and planning, and analysis and design. For that, what we really needed is a system model, something that describes how we do it. And you can see just an example from one of our reports of a business process model that we have put so much emphasis on. And you can see that also it includes the definition of and identification of the technologies or data that we will be using to support these initiatives. So kind of provides also a good information and connection to the looking at technology as well. So these initiatives that we have that include asset management and risks, CIP planning, energy management, they really are now, we're looking at utilities applying this methodology to a selected process, producing case studies, and then sharing this with others, with other utilities and in case studies. So we're making progress on each one of these initiatives, very good participation and excellent leadership by utility partners, including Dan Ott and Duncan and Eric Griffin and Mike Sweeney and Ting Lu and Yvonne. Very, very exciting things. So from the WRF project 5039, we've also sort of taken the maturity model that was developed as part of that. I was part of this project. So on the technology side, so we have now started to develop with the technology and data analytics team to look at the methods for assessing the maturity of the technology that we're currently using. And finally, on the people aspects, in the people column that includes workforce and organization, we have developed a maturity model. We've reported on this previously. Excellent work done by a number of different participants. And we're getting into the analysis part. So if we look at the overall sort of thing, now we're starting to have in place maturity models that will tell us where we are on the people things, on the people side, on the process side, on the technology side. So it provides a coherent, holistic view of our current situation. What I can also show is that we've started to develop analytical tools that look at the results of this survey, that looks at teamwork and collaboration, responsibility, accountability, employee engagement, reward and recognition, organizational culture, performance. And you may remember that Kestra was presenting this at WEFTEC. So these things were all generated through we started with 400 comments, and it was very good, effective collaboration between these different utilities. So this is the dashboard that looks at, for the purposes of this, just to test it, I just generated some data, survey data, but you'd get a dashboard that shows how responses for each one of these different categories on the left. This is color coding. Thank you, Mike Sweeney, for suggesting that we do this to explain where the rating is. And there are also, as you can see, this is just a dashboard, but there are also different pages dedicated to each of the specific aspects. So for example, this is for organizational strategy and performance, the questions that we used, what is the breakdown of the answers, and you can also slice and dice this analysis and say, well, how did executive management look at this, or how did stuff in the field look at this? So these are some tools that we've been working and developing and working with the team on, just to show you a couple of examples very quickly. And on change management, we're also working on a maturity model, so that will complete our set of models to tell us where we are now with our ability to implement projects, improve performance and stuff like that. And Ramona Harry is the lead on this. I just had a talk with her yesterday. So in the next coming months, we're going to have a number of workshops, and we will be developing all the components of our improvement methodology. So this was a very quick high altitude flight over a lot of the work that's being gone on, and I want to open it up for questions. Excuse me, for questions now before we go to Fidan. Are there any questions?
Cello, is this tool set available yet to people?
Yes, it is available. It is. I can immediately share it. It uses Microsoft Forms that can be sent out. People respond. And then the tools that I'm showing, it's basically Power BI looks at the results of the survey and provides these types of reports. This is just the first generation of reports that I've put together, and I can work if, for example, it would be fantastic if utilities wanted to start applying this. And as opposed to some of the tools on the process and technology side that are really focused on a specific process, this tool could be applied. You could apply it just to the stakeholders in a single process on a smaller scale, or you could apply it across the organization. It really is a different kind of slice through things. And I would I would be, we also, this is tier 1 questions. We also have tier 2 questions. So there's a lot there, and I'd be more than happy to share all this with you, to talk about anybody who wants to apply it, to provide the tools and support.
Maybe if you have a few minutes after the meeting's over, you and I can chat a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, Cello, there happens to be a meeting of the people team on Monday, and one of the agenda items is to identify pilot utilities that would be interested in applying the tier 1 assessment.
I think Pearshot's serving on that team, right, Scott?
Yes, that's correct.
So yeah,
we were expecting that Kansas City would probably be interested in identifying a process or a team or a function and applying it.
Yeah, it'd be great.
And by the way, Parijat has provided excellent ideas and has been a delight to work with. Just a comment. Any other thoughts or questions? Again, if you would like more detail on whether it has to do with the technology assessment, with the process assessment, with any of these things or initiatives, you can just ping me and I'll provide any answers and do whatever I can to help out, and Scott as well. So let me, I can't see because I'm sharing the screen, I cannot see if there are any hands up or not.
Yeah, there aren't any hands up, so your explanations must have been excellent, Cello.
Okay. Well, So, Fidan, did you want to say a few words about what's coming up?
Sure. Thanks, Cello. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. For this new year, to get it kicked off on a strong note, we're going to kick it off with WISE webinars on 4 different topics, as you see on your screen. The very first one will be on Wednesday, January 19th, on producing business process results. And we will have utilities talking about their successes through the WISE program. And it will be 30 minutes. Then we'll have 30 minutes for Q&A, really to help people that are on the call get their questions answered and to learn more about the utilities that will be speaking and their stories. And the same thing will take place in February, March, and April. And with this list of people that will be coming to the webinars, we plan to add to our prospects and add them to the WISE program as utility partners. That will be the hope. And then moving forward to the upcoming events, you probably all know the Utility Management Conference will be taking place. Cello, if you could move to the next slide.
Okay.
Thank you. The upcoming Utility Management Conference will be February 21st in February, and then our event will be a half-day workshop in the afternoon following the WRF 5039 workshop that Cello had mentioned. That one will be in the morning. Ours will start at 1:30 p.m. and it will go until 5 p.m. And we will send out I will send out an invitation to all of you. If you can make it to the Utility Management Conference, you will have an Outlook invitation as well as an invitation about the webinars. You'll have it in your calendar too. If you can attend, feel free to just click on, I'll have a link there to the GoToWebinar. You can RSVP through that link and attend all of the webinars that you can, as well as if you'll be at the Utility Management Conference, we will have the half-day workshop. We also plan to be at DBIA. We're going to have a booth, and we're currently working on getting us on the program to talk about WISE. At the booth, we will also be featuring WISE, and we'll have a banner up. Anyone that comes up to our booth will have flyers and information available about WISE. And then the last thing, well, let me stop here. Does anyone have any questions about upcoming events as well as the webinars? Yes.
If people don't know what DBIA is, it's Design Build Institute of America. It's a water wastewater focus, and it certainly relates to our the CIP planning and delivery work that we've been doing.
So I have a question put on. So has WEF already sent out the announcements for these upcoming webinars?
The announcements are going out to the committees this week, so today, and then the actual Outlook invitations will go out most likely on Monday. I'll try to make sure I get them out today, just not 100% sure on that, but you'll have the Outlook calendar soon for those.
But I mean, is it going out to all the WEF members?
Yes, to all the committees in the WEFTech platform, in the WEFCOM platform. So we plan to reach to about 1,000 people. And in addition to that, our marketing team will be promoting it in the social media platform and other venues that they have.
Okay, well, I'll watch for those. I want to make sure I get them forwarded to other people in our organization. So I appreciate it.
Sure thing. And I'll actually put a blurb that we're planning to send and put through the WEFCOM committees in the chat. If you would like to send that, if that's helpful, I'll put that into the chat as well. And the last thing I want to talk about, there's a Startup Mundi training that is available to all WISE utility partners. That's a gamified experience, specifically highlighting how you go from conception to scalability. And it's available to all WISE utility partners. We're planning to start it at the end of January. If any of your utility members would like to participate, anyone from your team is welcome to do so. Just send me an email and then we'll start putting together a list of teams. We need to have at least 14 to 15 people. Ideally, we'll have 16 total, but that would be a full day experience. It's a gamified experience. Everyone will be on teams and learning how to get an idea, take it from conception to scalability. It is fun, but it does take time.
So I'm not really sure. I don't really know. I'm not familiar with this. So just to make clear, this is not really part of WISE. It's just something that was offered to WISE
Yes.
utility partners as an optional thing, right?
It's an optional thing. It's not a requirement. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Anything else you want to bring up?
That's it, unless there are any questions.
Okay.
No questions.
Thank you.
Okay. So let me just stop sharing this and go back to just 1 second. So many screens, so few hands and fingers. So I just wanted to also mention that some utilities, I think Kansas City took training in business process modeling. Is that correct, Charlie?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think actually, didn't you participate, Scott, or?
I've participated in the MCES training that Mike put on.
Oh, I see.
So, he's done this with a few different utilities.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
Dan, we did it
sorry.
with Dan and Dan's team and others. Yeah.
Yeah. So DC, Mike Barnett, was this also with DC Water?
Not with DC Water, with WSSC.
Oh, okay.
Duncan knows about it though, I believe.
Okay. Well, this is something that is, such an important part of, documenting the processes in a proper way is an important part of the of our efforts. So if you and we have guidelines and documents, whatever you'd like will be appreciated. And I think just to make since we have a couple of minutes, give me just 1 second. I'll flash up. Let me know if you see the when you see this is the first webinar. Its focus is on processes, and we will have speakers from DC Water, Portland Water, and Great Lakes, so that people see how process improvement is applied to business case evaluation, asset management, energy management, and then Zonetta. This is the format, always 3 presentations, then 30 minutes for questions. And then the second one is about technology. And we'll have Scott Parker from KC Water, Yvonne Carney and Ting Lu, and Mike Sweeney talking about the application of technology and how to make sure that utility is getting value out of it. Then the third webinar is going to be about people, and it will include Lisa Thompson, Kaiser Osman in Parijat, and Jackie Gerald from Charlotte Water will do the facilitation. And number 4 will be change management with Ramona Harry from City of Baltimore, Jenny Chaddick from Tacoma Water, and Alice from Portland BES, and facilitated by Jessica Zara. So it is fully utility presentations and 4 utilities. And as usual, I'm in the back, Scott and me are in the back peeling the potatoes, doing everything we can to support these efforts. But it's extremely important to have the utilities up front. They have more credibility, and it will be and frankly, after hearing at UMC the first time I asked Scott Parker to do a presentation, I thought from now on Scott's doing all of them because he's doing a better job than I am. He's not confusing people. And so I think it'll be really, really excellent. I'm very excited about it. And Marco one of the things that we're thinking about is there's a lot of discussion about diversity and equity and inclusion, and I think that one of the things we may want to think about how to more meaningfully integrate that stuff into, like, on the people side that we've got, and how do we how do we bring it to the foreground, and how will we to help us deal with that. So I'll probably ping you one-on-one separately, and not one-on-one, because Scott will also help out. So you can maybe help us out with that if you have time. Would that be okay?
Yes, yes, and yes. If you, in exchange for you teaching everybody how to have their garage look so well.
Okay, I'll do my best. So we're getting with 2 minutes to go. Just open discussion. Any ideas or thoughts? I haven't been able to monitor the chat because I see.
Yeah,
Well,
Tamisa is asking if you would be distributing that document, the one probably, Tamisa, you can say that shows the agenda of who's going to be presenting. Is that the one you're thinking of?
Yes, correct. And the description of each webinar?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I will email it to everybody after this. And yes, absolutely. I'll just email it to everybody.
Yeah, and Fadan provided in the chat the blurb that she was talking about that that you could use internally in your organization if you like, or adapt it as you want to encourage internal folks in your utility to attend. And then as WEF, and Fadan described, they're doing some marketing of this, and they're reaching out to a lot of the WEF membership to try to encourage participation. And of course, we're all interested in expanding the number of utilities and the level of participation in the program. So that's all very positive.
Yeah, so Chris Wu and Mert from Portland Water are going to do asset management in this first webinar. Okay.
Right.
Any other questions or thoughts? Okay. Well, let me just, I'll stop the recording. So now you can really say what you think.